Let's talk about what's going on right now. We see this, and it has been going on for the past couple of years, but I think it kind of came to a head when we saw George Floyd basically get murdered on live television. And then we see the Breonna Taylor, and we see the Jacob Blake. We heard about the Ahmaud Arbery. We see that where two vigilantes who think they're doing justice, think they're apprehending a burglary suspect, kills a man in cold blood. Give me your sense of what's going on in America right now with race relations and the police.
Oh, well, it's a system that's working to the best of its ability because it was created to hold us down and to keep us down. So the system is working perfectly well. And for you to understand that, that means that the system needs to be taken apart, because the times that the system was put together, the black man was 1% of a man at that time. And we've moved on up to 100% of a man now. So we need to change them laws to reflect that. And those laws and those police systems that have been set up to deliberately break down the black man, the colored man, the kid, to keep him in jail, that these jails that they keep building, making money off of, they got to fill them up. So what better way than to, keep apprehending black suspects, wrongfully shooting us, killing us, accusing us. And we've been crying and griping about it as rappers for years, and nobody listened to us. They thought we was just, mad teenagers that said F the police or whatnot, but didn't know that it was really, really going on. And until these cameras start popping up and people start seeing what we were saying, then it became a reality. But what I love and understand about what's happening is that you have more people that aren't black that are outraged. And this is the first time I've ever seen this in my life. Usually it's one-sided. It's like, hey, that's your problem. Now people are starting to feel like it's our problem. And that's the beauty of it all, that, a lot of people are losing their lives, but the awareness of people coming together and trying to make a difference and standing behind something and saying, I don't want to be that racist and I don't want to be in that vein, is starting to become more apparent that the world is going to change for the better.
We see this incident with Breonna Taylor. Now, she was murdered on March 13th. They convene a grand jury 2 days ago, I think September the 20th. So basically you have 6 months before this even goes to a grand jury. And I'm not so sure, had the George Floyd and Jacob Blake or all these other incidents had happened, I'm not so sure they would have even convened this grand jury. Now, they tell me, Snoop, that the grand jury can indict a ham sandwich. How can you indict a ham sandwich, but you can't find a way to bring charges of a woman that's awakened in the middle of the night, door flies off the hinges, she's murdered in her own home. And somehow the only indictment you can bring is about an officer firing his firearm into another building and possibly injuring someone, but not the person that actually lost their life. You can't bring charges against them?
That's the law. That's the only way you can explain that, is that's the law that they created. Like I said, the system ain't broke. It's working perfectly fine. That's the way that they designed it. It works for them, not us. And we've always said that, in the regular words, you're innocent to proven guilty. But if you're black, you're guilty to proven innocent.
Proven innocent. Yep.
The other way around is just like that. And the sad part is that you see basketball coaches like Doc Rivers, have an emotional breakdown from just talking about the stress, because his father was a police officer. So It's not like they all are bad. It's not like it's a million bad cops. It's just the systems that are designed to protect those bad cops and to keep them in the light. So we got to find ways to break that down to where the laws are working for us. And some of our communities that we come from, we know how to police our own communities, meaning that ex-gang members come back and they do the right thing and they try to correct the problems that they made by policing the neighborhood and not letting the young homies get involved with gangs, but showing them a positive light to where the police don't have to really come around too much, because it's self-protected by those from that community.
Yeah, when you look at a police officer and he doesn't live, or he's not from the neighborhood that he's policing, he gives a damn really about that neighborhood, because he's working an 8-hour shift. He's going to do what he has to do. If he has to rough a few people up, if he has to, as they say, bust a few heads, guess what? He's going to leave the neighborhood and go home. It's hard, Snoop. They don't understand we understand how to talk to one another in our community. If you're not from that community, how do you understand how to relate, how to talk to someone, how to de-escalate a situation? Because now you got that badge, you all encompassing, And maybe you were bullied, maybe you were picked on, maybe it gives you the right that you feel emboldened to do certain things.
I just think that a lot of times these police officers are given a position of power and they never checked. You got to get checked when you get power, no matter how much power you got, whether that's your partner, your chief, consequences. It's like, we can kill somebody, don't get charged. And if we do get charged, we ain't gonna lose the case. We're gonna get some money, we're gonna get a pension, and we're gonna be just fine.
Right.
On the other end, it's like, but if you flip the coin, if somebody shoot a police officer, they gonna get the electric chair.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it was self-defense or it was a tussle and it ended up grabbing his gun and shooting, whatever the scenario is, it's the needle. So it need to be, repercussions and consequences for them as well. To me, that's how you rid the problem. If an officer knows that no matter who I shoot wrongfully or kill, no matter what color they are, I could be prosecuted, I could lose my pension, and I'm getting, some reprimands, something's gonna happen to me that I'm gonna lose, then I'll think before,
Right.
I think before I arrest them. Look at the white situation. When they arresting a white guy, they got more patience, more understanding. Hey, get on the ground. Get on the ground. I'm not going to tell you again. I'm going to tase you. But the black guy is straight, pow, pow, pow.
Right. And that's what's so disappointing. And I was just talking about it today on the show, where I was just reading about a case in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where the white guy is stopped. He doesn't want to go to jail. He has suspended license. He tussles with the two officers. He kills one, shoots the other, goes, and they bring him in alive. What black man the one in Dallas that killed those white police officers, they blew the whole building up to get him. They blew the whole building up to make sure they get him. They ain't bringing him alive. Ain't no questions. Ain't none of this. That's all we're asking. Snoop, we're not asking for anything more than what they give the other. Just fair, just equal justice, equal opportunity. That's all the blacks are asking for.
I think the way that we change it is that you got so many young political people who gonna make a difference, because it can't change but us just talking, marching, protesting. You see, that goes nowhere and nowhere fast. No disrespect to the protests, to the marches, to the people who organize all of that, but they ain't hearing that. They need to hear some knock, knock, who's there? And the only way you can do that is get in their face and give them what they don't want, which is you understanding the law, which is you changing the law, and which is you being a part of the people who make the decisions when it comes to legislation, when it comes to making decisions. We got to get more people like us who have a fair heart to run for these positions and become politicians, and not be so stuck on being an athlete, an entertainer, but be stuck on being a politician that could change, because athletes and entertainers, we can only do so much.
You know what to do. Hit the subscribe button to become an official member of Club Shay Shay, where we always do something for two something.